Hi everyone, it's Laura, and I'm here to finally give you every book on my physical TBR. I meant to film this back in December, so I would start a yearly tradition, but that didn't really pan out. So better late than never, but I want to hold myself accountable to you. So first stop, the big bookshelves that I have. Now, the majority of the books on here are books that I have already read, except for mainly the Brandon Sanderson shelf. So following the tradition of Becca and the books that I've seen do this and who I got inspiration from, I am going to just do this rapid fire with the book name and the author and not go into any detail about the books or the plot. The following books are all by Brandon Sanderson: The Sunlit Man, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, Words of Radiance, which I had started at one point, but I just need to start and read it front to back again, Oathbringer, Rhythm of War, and Wind and Truth. Then I have the 4 books in the second Mistborn series: The Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, The Bands of Mourning, and The Lost Metal, The Arcanum Unbound, Edge Dancer, and Dawnchard, Royal Assassin, and Assassin's Quest. Then we also have the Wheel of Time series. I started this series ages ago and I never finished it. When I first started it originally, there were still books being published, and I stopped, I think, the first time around book 5, and then I think I got further the second time in. I want to say maybe through book 8 or so. So I do eventually plan to get through all of the books and do a full read, but that's not a high priority, and I'm not going to count them on my physical TBR right now because I have collected these. These aren't going anywhere, and I want to prioritize my other books that I've had for ages and ages that are likely going to leave once I've finally read them. But I hope by this time next year I will be adding these to my official physical TBR. I did read books 1 and 2 again recently, so I will be on book 3. So hopefully I will have made more progress by this time next year, so that I only have a few books left to actually add to the physical TBR. But with that, that is everything that is unread that are on these shelves. So now I will be moving to the official physical TBR bookshelf. Actually, I lied. I was just getting ready to pack up and move the camera when I realized that I still have volumes 9 and 10 of that time I was reincarnated as a slime light novel over here on these shelves. With that, now I'm finally done these bookshelves. What are you doing? All right, everyone, now here I am in front of my physical TBR shelves, and I have a feeling that the kittens are going to make this difficult because they see all of the wires and they think they're fun to play with. So I'm going to try and be as fast as I can. I have the first 5 volumes of the Heaven Official's Blessing Danma. I think that's what it's called. Ow! So volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, and volume 5. I've been in the mood for a lot of light novels lately, so I think I just really need to sit down and I can actually probably binge these pretty fast. I just got a little discouraged, I think, last time when someone mentioned that the fan translations online tended to be better than the official ones. That was kind of a bummer to hear after I bought these, but I am still really interested in the story, so I do want to read these at some point. A Queer History of the United States. I'm going to be reading this next month for Pride, and that's by Michael Bronsky. The 7 Skins of Esther Wildling by Holly Ringland. A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Penner. Glitterland by Alexis Hall. I plan to read this next month for Pride. All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. The Witch and the Tsar by Olesya Salnikova Gilmore. Sorry for butchering that name. I actually got partway through this at one point. So again, another book that I have to start and read from the beginning. Fight or Flight by Samantha Young. Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. I hope to read this soon. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I think that's how you pronounce it. Foundry Side and Shorefall by Michael Jackson Bennett. I really wanted to read another one of his series after I started reading his Tainted Cup series. And then I have a normal copy of The Sword of Kaigan, which is probably going to be the copy that I read. But thinking on how popular it is and how much I enjoyed Blood Over Brighthaven, I had signed up for a Wraithmark Kickstarter edition. So I do have a special edition that just came recently in the mail. So I am happy that I'll get to put this on my shelves later. The Book Haters Book Club by Gretchen Anthony. Best Laid Plans by Rowan Parrish. The Last Days of Magic by Mark Tompkins, Jasmine and Jake Rock the Boat by Sonia Lally, The Lives of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I've tried to read this book twice so far. I don't know if you can see that bookmark. I made it to page 340 the last attempt, and I'm gonna give it one more try. I don't know if it was just overhyped or it's just not my type of book. I thought it would be something I would enjoy, but I'm gonna give it one more go and hopefully I'll make it through this time. Love, Life, and the List by Casey West, and Threadneedle by Carrie Thomas. Another one that I started but only got 44 pages in, so basically unread. Before Ever After by Samantha Soto. The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. The Lady Rogue by Jen Bennett. Myths and Mysteries of New Hampshire by Matthew Mayo. Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. Darling Girl by Liz Mikalski. The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Freaks by Amanda Hawking. Dissonance by Erica O'Rourke. The Thinking Woman's Guide to Real Magic by Emily Croy Barker. The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. A Witch in Time by Constance Sayers. Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowen. The Garden of Small Beginnings by Abby Waxman. A Girl Like You by Gemma Burgess. Season of Storms by Susanna Kearsley. The Story Spinner by Becky Wallace. Dream Strider by Lindsay Smith. The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. The Firebird by Susanna Kearsley, and The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley. Now I'm going to attempt a quick voiceover to explain this clip because I forgot to narrate as I was doing. I realized when looking back at the TBR video from last year that I actually have another bookcase in the spare bedroom that actually has a few books on it. As you can see, most of it is taken up by other memorabilia, but it also has a few books, so I'm officially adding those to my TBR for this year's video. Okay, so sorry about the bad lighting and the bad video quality, but I don't feel like pulling these out. So I have not read Anne Rice Pandora, Wild Magic, Of Mice and Men, George Orwell, 1984, The Will of the Empress, Dracula, Fahrenheit 451, Melting Stones, Mirror, Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, or The Chronicles of Narnia, and A Wrinkle in Time. Oh, I forgot I had some books up on this last shelf too. I have not read any of the Vampire Chronicles, The Children of Hurin, The Silmarillion, or The Other Bowman Girl. Alright, and the last books to add to this video are from the pile that has been sitting by my desk. The 8th volume of That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime, because I'm right in the middle of it. This should be finished by the end of the month. Labyrinth by Kate Moss. I'm also in the middle of this one, currently listening to it on audiobook. I should be finished this by the end of the month. Authentically Izzy. This is also hopefully to be done either by the end of this month or next month. And The Will of the Many. I started this one last fall. I got about a quarter of the way in, and then Oliver got sick and I paused high fantasy. I wasn't in the mood for that, so I hope to get to it soon, and it's by my desk as motivation. So with that is every last book on my physical TBR. I am a mood reader and I never really hope to have 0 physical books to read, but I hope to keep it at 15 to 20, enough to give myself selection for whatever I'm in the mood for, but never enough to be overwhelmed. So I don't know off the top of my head how many books, especially once I remembered about that extra bookshelf in the other room that I didn't include last year because out of sight, out of mind. Whatever my total is, it's going to be here. So I'm hoping that I can make some decent progress. And once I know what that number is, I will hope to know what my goal is to reach by the end of the year. And then by this time next year, I hope to be down to my preferred 15 or 20, but we will see if that's possible. I came this close to hitting my stretch goal of last year of making it to under 75 from what I knew at that time as my physical TBR. Of course, that wasn't including the extra books in the extra room, but that felt like validation that I was finally making progress, and the anxiety of having too many books that were unread, it lessened somewhat. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.